Good evening, guys. I'm Irina Efros, the founder of English in Action SPb project, which focuses on different educational and entertaining events in English for both adults and kids, such as educational excursions, we call them excursions, quests on special online platform in different areas of the city and in different museums, cooking classes with the foreign chefs, yacht trips in a summer period of time, networking dinners, online speaking club, and so on and so forth. I also graduated from the University of Westminster in London, UK. I did my master's there, and today I'm gonna talk about my favorite city, apart from St. Petersburg, of course, which is London, and different aspects of living there. So let me share my presentation with you to make it more interesting and understandable. This is information about me again. This is our program for today. So we're gonna talk about how do famous Sunday Upmarkets look like, why in many British pubs you will be served Thai food, why Wednesday is a new Friday, where and how do Brits have fun. So why in many pubs you can order Thai food? To talk about that, let's first start it from the very beginning, from foreign cuisine in UK and especially Indian cuisine in the UK, because it's most famous and most loved actually. So during the British rule in India, local British officials began mixing Indian dishes with their British palates and creating Anglo-Indian cuisine with dishes such as khichdi 1790 and mulligatawny soup 1791. The first known Indian restaurant in England, the Hindustani Coffee House, opened in 1809 in London, as described in the Epicurus Almanac in 1815. All the dishes were dressed with curry powder, rice, cayenne, and the best spices of Arabia. A room was set apart for smoking hookahs with oriental herbs. Indian food was cooked at home from a similar date as cookbooks of the time attest. Well-known Anglo-Indian dishes include chutneys, salted beef tongue, khichdi, bowl curry, fish rissoles, and mulligatawny soup. Chutney, one of the first Indian dishes that has had a lasting influence on English cuisine, is a cooked and sweetened but not highly spiced preparation of fruit, nuts, and vegetables. It borrows from a tradition of jam making where an equal amount of sour fruit and refined sugar reacts with the pectin in the fruit, such as sour apples or rhubarb, the sour note being provided by vinegar. Chicken tikka masala phenomenon. Chicken tikka masala is composed of chicken tikka, boneless chunks of chicken marinated in spices and yogurt that are roasted in an oven. Served in a creamy curry sauce, the origin of the dish is not certain. Some trace the origins of the dish to the South Asian community in Britain, and others claim that the dish was created in the Indian subcontinent. One of the explanations is that it originated in a restaurant in Glasgow, Scotland. This version recounts how a British Pakistani chef Ali Ahmed Aslam, proprietor of the Sheesh Mahal restaurant in the West End of Glasgow, invented chicken tikka masala by improvising a sauce made from yogurt, cream, and spices. In 2013, his son Asif Ali told the story of its invention in 1971 to the BBC's Harry Biker's TV cookery program. So you can see that the history and the story of Indian cuisine in UK dates back a few centuries. And today, every British family has their favorite Indian restaurant to go with the family, with the friends, every weekend. Every weekend, once a week. So usually they take chicken tikka masala, peshwari naan, which is a sweet bread made with coconut, a bowl of rice, a bottle of white wine usually to go with it. So it's a nice family and friends tradition they follow. And when I was living in London with my friends, we adapted this tradition as well. We had our favorite small cafe in Bangla City, and we went there every single Friday evening. And I'm happy to know that it still exists. And when I'm in London, I'm usually, going there to remember the nice good old days, as we call it, nice time. So, but why Thai food is served in many pubs? I did a small little research, and the options are: Thai food is relatively quick and easy and is good food to have with a beer, especially green curry. Asked the landlord of a pub in Kingston the very same question, and he said it was because he and many other landlords had married Thai women and they ran the kitchens. So it's free of charge employees. Family business. And the most serious and deep answer was the trend for Thai food really took off in 1990s, which was the decade when Thailand became established as a backpacker destination for young Brits. So cafes, pubs, restaurants serving noodles sprang up in the inexpensive parts of London, like Stoke Newington, Camden, and Brixton, where young people lived. And there was a demand for the cheap, healthy, tasty food they discovered while traveling. You need to get some traditional greasy spoon cafes, renting out their premises to Thai people at night too. There's never been large-scale Thai immigration here, so there were few established Thai businesses to absorb and support newcomers. I think it's likely then that the new immigrants, being very entrepreneurial, seized on the trend and did deals with pubs and cafes to use their premises, and so avoid the initial risk of setting up their own restaurants. So they didn't need basically to attract the customers, which is additional extra, time, money, and effort, but they put the customers who already go to the pubs and restaurants and introduce them to Thai food. So one of the most famous Thai restaurants is situated at the back of the Churchill Arms pub, a 100-year-old hostelry in chic Notting Hill Gate, West London. Manager Jerry O'Brien, a genial Irishman who initiated this combination 20 years ago, even though he has never been to Thailand. And Koyachai Sampathong, known to all as Po, who has built up a significant business on the back of this unlikely association. O'Brien arrived in London from County Clare in the Irish Republic in 1970, aged 17 years old and looking for work as a barman. 15 years later, he took over as a manager of the Churchill Arms, which belongs to Fuller's, now London's only family-owned brewery. At that time, simple, mainly frozen pub food was the order of the day, and the current very busy restaurant was an open yard. My big problem was what to serve in the evening, O'Brien says. My customers were happy with the pies and sausage and chips at lunch, but they wanted better food at night. Then one day, a customer came in and said that he knew a Thai chef called Ben, Sukhot Bunasarayong. It's very difficult to pronounce that, who wanted to come and work here. Apparently, he loved the pub. I just didn't know how to politely say no to such a very good customer. O'Brien's skepticism was understandable. Thai food was neither popular nor well known in London in the 1980s. And back in those days, very few British pubs were known for serving good food of any nationality. But this customer kept persisting with his proposal, and soon O'Brien found himself eating and enjoying Ben's food in the Thai restaurant where he was cooking as a sous chef. They agreed to a month-long trial at the pub in July 1988. The success of this first night stunned O'Brien. The kitchen put out a few tasting dishes for my customers to try, and everybody loved the food. After just a couple of weeks, people were piling in not just to eat, but to see what we're doing. This included visits not just from my bosses at Fuller's, but also from many rival publicans as well, he says. And so on the picture, like on the first one, you can see Churchill Arms pub, which is a very chic and very modern and very ancient at the same time pub in London and Notting Hill. And you can see the outer decorations, they're all natural. This is natural flowers. And every year this pub spent approximately, I think, £100,000 for these decorations. So you can imagine. And inside there is a pub, like traditional British pub, and there is a very beautiful Thai cafe. You can see it here. It's very, not just very tasty, but it's very ecological, because you can see the flowers, you can see the wooden chairs and tables, and also there are birds singing in the cages, and all in all you feel like a tropical forest. So inexpensive Thai food can now be enjoyed in pubs with traditional names such as the Queen's Head in Cheshire, Buckinghamshire, the Prince Albert in Twickenham, the Castle of Ealing, Latimers in Hammersmith, and the Old Fish Market in Bristol. At the entrance to the Ivy pub on Southampton Row, Holborn, is a brass sign offering authentic Thai food, while another sign also describes it as traditional British pub. Ben's Thai restaurant in Maida Vale has just moved from one pub to its new home above the Robert Browning pub. So you can see the Old Fish Market with the beautiful flowers and decorations as well. And inside they also have Thai food. Okay, so let's move to another topic, small topic. Wednesday's a little Friday, so let's get the party started. If there's one place you can find your clubbing nirvana, it's in London, because it's a home to some of the biggest and most notorious and iconic places to party in the world. For example, Super Duper Fly, fans of 90s hip-hop and R&B are in for a real treat. The Grand, the huge Victorian theatre converted into one of the SW's biggest London clubs. Oslo, voted in as the DMN Public's best all-in-one venue in Hackney. Oslo is a true pillar of East London partying, located inside the redeveloped Hackney Central rail station, very beautiful former rail station. Cirque Le Soir, London's playground for some dark and twisted sex appeal. Cirque Le Soir is notorious nightclub spot for over-the-top entertainment, frequented by celebrities and known for going all out when it comes to X-rated performances. You know what is it, right? X-rated performances. So performances kind of sexual, with a sexual focus, sexual appeal. Shaka Zulu, hot from the horizons of South Africa, Shaka Zulu is one of the Camden's mega restaurant clubs where you can dine, drink, and dance among a collection of statues, safari art, and African-inspired decor. A very beautiful one. And here you can see, and also there are a lot of Brazilian pubs where you can feel, not Brazilian pubs, sorry, Brazilian clubs where you can feel like in Brazil during the Brazil Carnival. In Rio de Janeiro, for example, there are a lot of dancing on special stage in the costumes, Brazilian music with the caipirinha and cachaça, and different bars and clubs created and dedicated to different nationalities, which is very interesting. There are clubs of like very opulent and very expensive clubs, posh clubs, such as Sketch Club. You can see a toilet here on the picture because they are crazy about their toilets in the shape of X. Mavida Club, considered to be Russian, and Mahiki. Mahiki is a little bit like not in you know, this Indonesian Balinese style. The thing is that if in Russia we'll go to this pub, we'll have dress code, face control, very high prices. People around us will look very posh. Will look how do we look like, how we dressed up. But in London, it's very loyal, very friendly, and very tolerant. If you are dressed normally, if you have some makeup, and if you are clean, that's enough for them to let you in. You don't need to pay a high price for the ticket. Nobody will stop you like the guards in Russia. And for example, in St. Petersburg, in Moscow, there are clubs that can't be entered by ordinary people without invitation or something, without their high status. In here, you will be welcomed no matter what, just if you look okay, normal, not drunk, not dirty, friendly, that's it. The only case when they won't let you in is a private party, when the place is rented by someone and it's private party and it's closed for other people, or there are too many people in the club and you arrived too late. That's the only reason why, and this is a very good thing about London clubbing, because nobody will judge you by appearance, not that much as in Russia. So let's talk, how do British women look like, about their makeup and dresses while they go on at the party. So usually parties are on Friday night, Saturday night, and Wednesday night, because Wednesday is like a small Friday in the middle of the week. So British girls, especially London girls, they're crazy about partying. Usually they put on short dresses and skirts no matter what. They don't care about cellulite, about their figure, their legs, if they are fit or if they're fat. They don't care that much. Usually high heels and shoes half size bigger, at least. It was a fashion some time ago. I was very surprised that their shoes are much bigger than their legs, and sometimes they fell down or they lose their shoes right in the middle of the road. And I was thinking first, second, third time, maybe, I don't know, they wanted the shoes and there wasn't the size in the shop, and they wanted the shoes badly and they decided to buy, no matter what size is that. Or maybe they were just mistaken with the size. But then I found out it's a fashion, it's a trend. So also our girls, I'm not talking about the girls of very high social status. I'm talking about simple British girls in general. They put on a lot of makeup, quite heavy makeup, fake eyelashes and fake tan. In Russia, we still go to, to be tanned in solarium, or we go to the beauty salon to have our lash extensions. For them, it's too expensive and it takes too much time. They prefer to go to shops, and there are a lot of fake eyelashes of different width, length, size, style, and they buy them in big quantities and they put them just for one night, and then they take them off, and that's it. That's how they go to parties. And actually in many countries it's also all right, and even they won't go without their fake eyelashes. For example, in Indonesia. Also, before they were wearing torn tights, or they went without them at all, even in winter. Short skirt, maybe fake fur coat, shoes, no tights at all, and they're not frozen. Surprise, surprise. So, night buses phenomenon. Many of London's bus routes run all nights every day. Look for the N in front of the bus number. This indicates a bus that covers the period between the close of the tube and the start of daytime bus services. In addition, several London bus routes run 24 hours. People dance in the buses, drink, have a friendly chit-chat, and meet their new friends, or even laugh. So this is like a huge party in a night bus when they're coming back home from the clubs. Also, the night tube runs on Fridays and Saturdays on the Victoria, Jubilee, and most of the Central, Northern, and Piccadilly lines, so the main lines. And people start and end their weekend party in the tube because there are a lot of very good musicians playing there in the tube. Very good music like pop music and R&B and jazz music and even classical music, and people listen and they dance and they have fun, and they start their Friday or Saturday or Wednesday evening there in the tube while going to a party. So London is a great place to party, to have fun. Let's move to our last topic, final topic for today. It's London Sunday markets. Very interesting topic, actually. So London markets have enjoyed a rich and vibrant history through the ages, from feeding the first settlers in the area to becoming a major centers of commerce as London grew, to their present role as not only shopping hubs, but tourist attractions in their own right. Here is a brief history of the development of markets in London right up to the present day. In the beginning, the first known market in London can be traced back to Roman times, with olive oil and other wares being sold at a site close to the Forum. The next big development took place when Alfred the Great started to develop London as a major port, with the waterside markets. The Billingsgate springing up to deal in the ready trade of fish, coal, grain that was being transported into the city. Grain, zerno, coal, уголь. The establishment of the City of London guilds further embedded the market scene, with each supplier being given a specific area to trade in. Within the city walls, if you walk around the city, you can see in the street names where these markets were originally found, the Bread Street and Poultry. The first real market was found in the Cheapside area in the 12th century, where you could buy everything a middle-aged shopper would possibly want. So you could see that the history of London markets dates back to the 12th century. Can you imagine that? And this is one of the biggest, one of the most famous markets in London. It's called Borough Market. So Borough Market is a wholesale and retail market hall in South Park, London, England. It is one of the largest and oldest food markets in London, with a market on the site dating back to at least to the 12th century. The present buildings were built in the 1850s, and today the market mainly sells specialty foods to the general public. So the idea of these markets is, for example, if you want to buy cheeses and ham, there are French people who are coming on weekend to sell their own cheese and ham of very good quality. And sometimes they even don't speak English. You should somehow speak either, you know, the body language or try to speak French with them. And usually it's their own products, what they're selling. For example, in Russia, there are people who are producing and there are people who are selling in the market. But in London, if it's cheese or ham, it's French. If it's olives, baklava, or for example, pickled tomatoes, it's Greek people. If it's, I don't know what, like seafood, maybe it's Thai people, it's Vietnamese people, and so on and so forth. So it's like many nationalities, the whole world is coming to London market to sell their traditional national products and dishes. And of course, at every London market, there is a part with the different cuisines where you can try different food, different dishes. Vietnamese, Brazilian, Chinese, Indian, South African, I don't know, Italian wine, Italian bread, Italian pizza, whatever. Maybe there is no Russian stall, but in general, most of the world is presented there. If you remember, a few years ago, there was a massive attack near Sunday Markets by terrorists, and Borough Market was involved, and some people, some customers died there, and the sellers as well. It was a big tragedy, and Prince Harry went there, and he expressed his respect to all the businessmen in the market who are doing their business and who are trying to overcome this difficulty, overcome this tragedy, and repair the Borough Market after the terrorist attack. This is my favorite one, Camden Lock Market. So Camden Lock is one of the world's most famous markets. The now iconic retail destination started life as a cluster of craft workshops by the Regent's Canal and has evolved to become one of the London's most important nerve centers of artisan creativity and trading. The market is packed to the goners with the stalls trading in handmade clothes and jewelry, music, memorabilia, objects from ages past, and authentic food from the far-flung locations. All in all, Camden Town is a very nice area, and if you go to London, you should definitely visit it. Camden Market is a place, extraordinary place itself. So, as I said before, it is situated near the Regent's Canal, and you can have a boat trip from Maida Vale and Little Venice to enter the Camden Market. Inside, you can find anything you can think of. There are a lot of vintage things, vintage clothing, vintage books, vintage music, different souvenirs, different ancient vintage baggages. Interesting craft works, like jewelry, for example. And of course, a lot of stalls with cuisine from different countries, different nationalities. The same as Borough Market, you can try, there are huge wooden tables and you can try different food quite cheap, and also maybe meet someone at your table, some foreigners or some Brits, and have a friendly chit chat. Nearby is a famous roundhouse, it's a concert hall, and the most famous music bands and dance teams had their performances there. Also interesting to visit. And before there was a club's tables, I'm not sure how now, but also very interesting place. And finally, Brick Lane Sunday Upmarket. Brick Lane runs from Bethnal Green and through Spitalfields down towards Whitechapel. The street was originally called Whitechapel Lane. It is thought that it was renamed because local earth was used by brick and tile manufacturers who set up shop in the street in the 15th century. By the 17th century, the street had also become a popular location for breweries, and the famous brewing family, the Trumans, started their business here, and you can still see the Black Eagle Brewery on the street. This century also saw the start of its market, Like much of the East End, this area was a haven for immigrants moving into London to escape persecution abroad or looking for a better life. During the 19th and 20th centuries, it was best known for its Irish and Jewish population. Nowadays, it's mainly Bangladeshi and Pakistani population here. They opened a lot of curry houses and bakeries, like Pakistani Bangla bakeries. Some time ago, like a decade ago, maybe they asked the government to give them official status of Bangla city. It was confirmed. And so they put a poster on the house. You can see "Welcome to Bangla city," and it's official. And if you go there, you will see this poster. So Brick Lane Market, you can see it on the pictures. It's very crowded, packed with people, the customers. So hunt for a bargain within the bric-a-brac. Bric-a-brac, it's like something small thing. At this bustling East End market, bursting full of antiques, stunning fabrics, and kitsch collectibles. Once you've found your treasure, refuel at one of the numerous food stalls in the area or head into Brick Lane restaurants. So usually they sell pretty much the same as Camden Town does, but I prefer Camden Town. I think it's more interesting and more options there. Usually it's the same vintage things, crafts, and different food, and also this huge open air spaces, tables where you can sit and try different cuisine. And usually if it's coffee from Ethiopia, there is a huge Ethiopian lady who is brewing the coffee. If it's Chinese omelette, this is Chinese people, Japanese people who prepare this omelette. And some like things are sold right on the road. Some are in the small shops. Some are open air on the hangars. So it's a very authentic place to visit. I should say, not just a market, but the area itself. And what is interesting, before you could also rent a stall and open your own pop-up cafe with your national food, because I know, because my good friend planned to do that. Plan to open a pop-up cafe with a Russian food, like Russian apple pie, Russian tea, maybe some borscht, maybe some cutlets, because there was no Russian food there. I don't know how with the inspections, how it works with the inspections, but it's not very expensive to rent a stall. And everyone can do it, everyone can participate and prepare their food at home and bring it, put it on stalls and sell it during the weekend. Camden Market and Borough Market, they're working during the week, but not that many people there. It's more exciting to go on, let's say, Friday and Saturday, maybe Sunday, because it's Sunday Upmarket. But it works all week long. Apart from the Brick Lane Market, it works only during the weekend. During the week, you can visit only small shops, but not this open space. There's no sellers there. It doesn't function. And I highly recommend you to visit, because nowadays we have this fashion for markets as well. There are a few in Moscow. There will be another one. There is one on Vasiliostrovskaya. There will be one instead of Kuznecny market, but it's very different because you can just buy some products there and you can try cuisine of different countries there, but nothing to compare with London markets. No vintage things, no books, no music, no clubbing, nothing like that. So we are becoming more European, adapting this tradition from Europe and from the UK, especially, but we are far from it, I should say. So if you're in London, take a chance and go to one of these markets, or to all of them, try all of them. So that's it for today. thank you for your attention. This is our project in social media, in Facebook, Instagram, VK, and this is my email. So if you have any suggestions, questions, you're more than welcome to write to me. And this is our online speaking club with a native speaker, with Ronnie and with me. We're doing something in between online speaking club and a class with a PowerPoint presentation with different words and phrases we use immediately, with the videos we discuss, with the homework tasks, and special group for participants in WhatsApp. So it's not just ordinary speaking club, it's more educational thing. It's a fun thing, at the same time it's educational thing. So you're welcome to join it as well, because we have groups for different levels. So see you next month, guys. We'll continue with the London stories, and then I'll invent something else for you. Bye.